Hi and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea. I'm going to share with you a couple of decks that arrived in the post. A couple that one that I had on order that I had pre-ordered, which arrived, and it's so pretty. It really is a pretty deck, and I'll start with that one. With that came this lovely satin reading cloth. It opens up that's a quarter of its size, and look at the beautiful colour on that, and it has a section on it for 3 card readings of past, present and future. It also arrived with this adorable little satin tarot bag. Isn't that pretty, with the little fairy folk on it? And of course this comes from Tarot Collectibles. Whoops, let me just open this bag. And Tarot Collectibles is the RWS deck that has been recoloured and re-imaged to a degree by Christine Aguiar and James Battersby. Now I have seen a number of decks online over the years by Tarot Collectibles, and a couple that I've kept my eyes on, particularly things like the Groovy Weight. I'm not really into like the Christmas Weight and what have you, but this particular one just seemed to pull me in. And here's me saying I'm not into the winter weight. This is actually the spring weight, okay? The spring edition. Spring Weight Tarot Sparkles, and I think that might be what got me, that little bit of bling that you can see in the box. And it comes in quite a sturdy tuck box. I think it was its vibrancy, its quirkiness and prettiness, and it's quite a chunky deck. I wouldn't riffle it. The cards are a little bit too thick for riffling. You know, when sometimes you get a deck and you think, oh, that's going to be nice to riffle, and you go to riffle it and they don't bend. That's the sort of cardstock we have. It's strong cardstock, lovely cardstock, and great for hand over hand. Now, this deck is all mashed up because I have shuffled it, and it's not a case that I'm going to go through it card by card. I just want to show you the beauty of the cards. Now, within this deck, we actually have 2 copies of the Fool. They're identical copies. One, I think I am going to keep as a bookmark. We also have 2 Hermits, and the 2 Hermits are quite different to each other. I'll see if I can just find the other Hermit. And I'm toying on the idea of actually keeping both Hermits in the deck, because I feel that with the messages that they convey, that somebody might need to hear one or the other, or even both, you know, because albeit we have both these meanings in the one Hermit card originally, having it there pictorially, not just both for the reader and the querent. For the reader, it's like focus on sort of introspection, focus on being the guiding light for others. Okay, so you can see where this is a real definite sort of aspect of the Hermit here. We're sort of focusing on ourselves, you know, looking inside, learning, improving what we know, or even just analysing why we feel X, Y and Z, you know. So that's our Hermit, and it's very much in keeping with our original Hermit. And albeit in our original Hermit we also have this although we've got this introspection, we also have this leading light for others, but this particular card actually really does focus in on that image. Here we have our Hermit shining his light on the hare's tunnel, and if you look here, that would be dark and underground, and this little guy might think, heck, I'm lost, I don't know my way out, or which way am I supposed to go? And there he shines his light, and the hare can follow the light, saying, follow my light, follow my guidance, I'm going to lead you, I won't do you wrong, you know. So there could be aspects of reading where a querent may need to hear one or both of these messages at different times of the reading. If you're doing a past, present and future, in the past you may have led others down their path, showing them where to go, what to do. In the future, or even in the present, now it's time to focus on you. Focus on what you want, how you're going to plan and proceed forward in your life, you know. So I think that's a really good idea, and I just think normally I'd only have the one Hermit, but I really do feel drawn with this particular deck to adding both these Hermit cards into a reading. The backs of the decks look really springtime beautiful, and albeit we are now heading into the autumn, this is going to be a really bright, happy deck in which to welcome next spring. Would I only use it in the spring? No, I would probably use this for readings when you know, you can sometimes read the environment, and if someone's come to you and they're happy-go-lucky and they look, I think this would be a lovely deck as well. I love all the colours, all the chakra colours, the rainbow, everything about this just screams colour, vibrancy, and in a way it carries a sort of exciting vibe about it. I love the fact that even our knights, look at them, the knights we would sort of see as going into battle for whatever element they're representing, but look at this, there's a gentleness about them too. We've got our Knight of Swords careering off into battle here to stand up for truth and honesty and clarity and open communication, etc., etc. But there's also the reminder of the subtleness of how we approach things when we are communicating with each other. There are times that we do need to say, well, hey, hold on here a minute. But there are times to say, I'm here, let me hear what you've got to say. And those are indicative by the beautiful butterflies. Okay, soft and gentle, as they say, slowly, slowly catch a monkey. Right, now let's just have a look. We have our beautiful queens and kings in here that are represented. You can see if I shine it to the light, all the glitter. It's not doing it justice here on screen, because when you look at it, it's just like, oh wow, that is just so lovely. And our king, we also have a lot of folk that have wings, taking flight. There's the quirkiness to it of the being like fairy folk, and it's just, like I say, delightful. So if you're looking for a different type of RWS that carries vibrancy, that carries an air of positivity, of gentleness, of acceptance for all, of colour, and of just beauty in a very, very vibrant way, I would definitely go on to Tarot Collectibles and look at the work that is created by both Christine Aguiar and James Battersby. This is my first Tarot Collectibles deck. Whether I get any more, I don't know, but I do know this particular one has really won me over. So, and like I said, I do like these chunky decks. So that is that deck that I wanted to share with you. Now, I have been very lucky recently. I've had a number of people coming for readings, and I was booked in at a venue to read, and I've thought, right, some of this I haven't added to my collection for some time, so I thought some of this I'm going to put away to add to my collection. I haven't got overly expensive decks. I don't go for overly expensive decks generally, but decks that have, one that's a very recent app, but decks that have bypassed me. Now, this Hanson Roberts deck I've had for a year and a day. I had another Hanson Roberts deck that I actually think was a copy, right? I bought it on eBay, and it came in with 3 or 4 other decks. It all turned out to be forgeries. All of them have been used in crafting projects. I've not used them to read with. But the other Hanson Roberts that I had, the cardstock was a heck of a lot thinner. It's like just paper. So they are embedded in my tabletop here on the desk I work on. And you'll see there is another video dedicated to the creation of that, where I had very little hair and was very eager to get this table done. It is long. You can, if you want to follow that, zip through it. But the reason I'm bringing out the Hanson Roberts that I've had, like I say, for some time, it's a really nice handheld deck. It shuffles beautifully, riffles beautifully, is because I ordered the Universal Weight Tarot deck, and this is another RWS that has been out since the 70s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just have a look here. Does it say? Oh no, the 70s is the Hanson Roberts. I think this is from 1990 to 2009. And it's just one that, well, I thought, oh, an RWS, I don't really need another one. But what drew me to this one when I was reading up about it, I just happened to come across it on Amazon, as it happens. And I thought, right, I think I might get that. What drew me to it, those are the backs. What drew me to this cardstock, is your traditional cardstock, is the fact that it was coloured by Mary Hanson Roberts, and she hand coloured her decks with coloured pencil. And when you think about it, okay, they're printed off now from the originals, but look, take the blue in that, look how at the shading you can see the pencil strokes, and to me it screams a dedication of now all tarot decks are a work of passion, are a work of excitement, and they're a work of adventure. Each of them carry their own energy. Each of them have a little nuance through imagery or through symbolism that add depth and meaning to readings if you like using those sort of things. But for me, the fact that this was hand coloured, I always have a good energy from the Hanson Roberts. So let's look at this. Look at the shading with coloured pencil. Now, you know, I used to love colouring. And I feel terrible in one sense, because when I was going through my treatment for cancer, I was bought a lot of these mindfulness colouring books from family and friends, and I have managed some, but I got to the point where I felt like my hand was going to drop off, and I struggled getting the shading correct, whether it was because of the effect of the medication, I don't know, but it put me off colouring, I've got to be honest. But look at this, knowing that it can become a painful task, a repetitive task, and a task you have to really be focused on and love, because I've got to the point where I go, can't be bothered. I think after my first card I might have given up, let alone 78 of them, and then to go and do another deck. I love the shading, how we can see the heat in that sun. You know, when it's very brilliant white, it's white hot, but then as it's coming through the sort of layers of the ozone, etc., how it and into the Earth's atmosphere, we get the oranges. And look at the shading on the legs here, how they're in the shade and then in the sun, and there's the shading in the backpack. Look at the shading here on the backpack, the greys of that handbag going into like a warm white colour with the pink clasp. Look at the shading on the clothes, the skin tones, the colours on the hat, and that's all being done by hand, not any way, shape or form computer aided, not using technology, but basically repetitive hard graft. We have our magician. Let's have a look at the colouring on these, you know, and once again you can literally see the pencil strokes, and for me that gives the cards an added oomph, if that makes any sense. So I won't go through each card, that's just me explaining how I find things and why I find them the way I do. I'll just show you one more, and that's just because I love the colours. Look at the Hanson Roberts and the RWS here, look at that. The pillars, the shading of the pillars, look at all the colours used in both of them, you know. And there's even a marbling on the pillars here. You know, you look at that, the dedication it would take. Look at the folds and the nips and tucks in the gown here on our High Priestess. Look at the smooth quality and the teals to blues on the High Priestess here. The pattern on the backgrounds, the marbling both in the black and the white marble pillars, and here rather than marbling we have the shading of sort of as though it's onyx and alabaster, you know. It really is beautiful. Beautiful, what can I say? I just love them. So that's the reason I added this universal weight tarot deck to my collection, and just brought out my Hanson Roberts just to show you not the comparison of the cards, but the colouring and how dedicated someone must be to decide to hand colour a tarot deck. So that's that. Now the last deck that I'm going to show you is the Unfolding Path Tarot, and that's a deck created by Athene Noctua. Okay, I'm saying Athene, could be Athena, but if my pronunciation is incorrect, I do apologise. So the Unfolding Path Tarot comes in one of these beautiful two-part boxes that I always find nice and sturdy and sit amazingly well on our tarot shelves. Not that this is going to be sitting on a tarot shelf, I tell you. And this is another one that's got the dedication of hand painting, watercolour painting. Let's have a look what it says on the blurb on the back for this particular deck. This 78 card tarot deck, featuring beautifully re-imaged archetypes and modern diverse characters, will guide you as you explore the infinite paths your life can take. With unique interpretations of traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, the Unfolding Path Tarot introduces a dazzling community of animals, plants and people. This deck's vibrant artwork, insightful guidebook and extra sprinkle of magic create the perfect compass for self-discovery. Now let's have a look. We have the book that comes with it, so let's just see, does the book say anything different on the back? No. About the creator, Athene Noctua is the artist and creator behind several oracle and tarot card decks. Her creative process is deeply meditative and forms a key pillar of her spiritual practice. Placing herself at the service of spirit, she works to create divination tools that open a channel of communication between us and the divine. Living deep in the English countryside on a renovated canal barge, oh, what a beautiful life. Her art is inspired by the energies and cycles of life in a natural environment around her. And each card has a page dedicated to it. You have a set of keywords under each title. So let's just have a look. I've just opened it randomly to the page. This is the Page of Wands. So your keywords: inspiration, energy, discovery and possibilities. And then a little write-up for the Page of Wands. Life is a brilliant adventure full of new things to see and learn to do. She's full of curiosity and wonder, and she's ready to launch herself into new projects and journeys. Every opportunity holds magical potential for her. In her delight at the world around her, she doesn't spend much time planning, but catapults herself wholeheartedly in the direction of her dreams. With her absolute optimism, nothing can hold her back as she prepares to dive into the unknown. Dream fully and freely. There are no limits. The limits that there are only the ones that we place on ourselves. We have card spreads in here, and there is a card spread in here that I'm going to practice today, and that's My Soul's True Path, and it's a 6-card spread. That'll be very interesting. And where will the path lead to today is a 4-card spread. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it when you get information like that in the deck, or little things that you can do. It's just an added bonus, isn't it? And then there's an introduction in the little book too. I won't go and read that. That's something you can read when you purchase the deck. The inside of the box, look at that. The artwork, simply divine. Okay, now let's look at the cards. Again, not going to go through every single card because I you know the RWS off by heart, but just examples of the artwork that we have here, that I have here in my hands. The backs are beautiful, stunning in fact, and reversible. You cannot tell from the backs whether you are reading an upright or reversed card. Our Fool, just look at that again. The shading, the use of watercolours to highlight the nips and tucks of the clothing, the skin tones, the hair tones. I love the streaks of white in amongst that beautiful dark hair. And that reminds me, albeit it's a young girl here, my son has dark hair, but he has 2 sections where they're just white, and I don't know why. He cuts it very short because he doesn't like it to be seen. And the butterflies, I love butterflies. Do originally my tarot Facebook page was called Blue Butterfly because when I was deciding to create the tarot page, my father wasn't into this sort of thing, and I was sitting on a beach, and I said to my dad, here in my head, my heart, said, am I doing the right thing? And my father was an Everton supporter, and their strip is blue. And I said, Joe, just let me know if I'm doing the right thing. Because the one thing my dad said to me before he passed is he'd always be here, always with me, watching over me. And if he could be, and I firmly believe he is. And when I asked that question, 2 beautiful cornflower blue butterflies just appeared, not just out of nowhere, they must have been flying around, but they just appeared and literally circled and flew off. But they remained with me for my duration of time. There, they're just hovering about on a beach with just a few little grassy stumps here and there. It was amazing. So my page was called Blue Butterfly, and up until recently I decided to sort of synchronise it with my tarot, with my channel here on TarotTube or YouTube. So those blue butterflies do have quite a meaning for me. I love the Magician. The face of the Magician reminds me a little bit of the face of the devil in the Light Seer. And do you know, in a way that's sort of funny, because our Magician, albeit he tells us that we have all the tools of our trade in our toolbox of life, you know, not to doubt ourselves, but remember the Magician can always, if reversed, there's sleight of hand, trickery, a little bit of devilishness about him. You know, it's just, I think it's the long hair and that beautiful face, you know. The High Priestess I love in this deck, and the reason I love it is because she's represented almost like the crone. You know, you've got your maid, mother and crone, and we have our older woman here, and her wrinkly skin sort of gives us that feeling of comfort, of trust, that this person knows her stuff because she's seen it, done it, been there, got the t-shirts type of thing, and has learnt along the way. And everything that she has learnt, and whether it's through experience, intuition, reading situations, being in touch with the divine, being able to open that portal between here and the spirit world and pass on messages. But like that, she too is willing to pass on the knowledge when the time is right for that person who's asking for that guidance, for that help, for that push in that direction. She's there, ready to impart what she knows when she thinks the time is right for you. And I just feel that's really like a grandparent sort of vibe, but a wise grandparent. And the fact that she's got the same hair colour as me. We gel. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And our matriarch of the Empress, oh my goodness, talk about, you can feel the nurturing, the growth, the strength it takes to be the Empress, to be the nurturer, to be the one encouraging growth, bringing in new life, planting new seeds, and harvesting to feed her own. You know, it's beautiful. So this here, I could go through every single card and explain, but then we would be here for a year and a day. So I'm just going to go through a handful of these so that you can have a look here. I love this Hierophant. Now, this Hierophant is somebody I would feel so at peace with, just sitting and listening to, because it gives you a sense of knowledge, of calmness. This card, when you look at our traditional Hierophant, and when you have that, the Pope-like figure, there's an austereness to it, and there's a sort of, in a way, do as I say, not necessarily do as I do, but do as I say. Whereas this one, we've got all the elements drawn on the scarf around his neck, or his you know, his robe. He's the keys of knowledge, he's the cross, he's got that green shading behind him, which tells me that he's blessing you, he's imparting his knowledge onto you, he's sharing his advice, but he's advising, not telling. There's a big difference. Telling somebody to do something, you will do this because I've said so, because I'm the teacher, I'm the one that knows it all. Or you can say, look, this is my experience, I will guide you, it's up to you if you want to take that information. But the colours behind him, to me, are colours of growth. There's a peacefulness about this card that makes me feel, I love the message that's coming from it. Then I'm going to move on now to some, there's one here I wanted to show you. The strength. Now we have, here's our Lovers card, beautiful, vibrant, love-filled card. These two, our Chariot and Strength. Look how these two in a sense mirror each other, because we have beautiful beasts here. And this is telling us, for me, now this is my interpretation, not the interpretation from the book. I could read that to you later if we so wished, but I like to go with what I'm getting from my decks. And here we have got that beautiful snow leopard, and we've got a girl riding on the back of that snow leopard. And that is indicative that this is although this is the Chariot card, her being on the back of this beast is indicative that we drive our inner beast. We have the determination, we have the wherewithal, we have the stubbornness, if you want to call it, to go our own way, our way. It doesn't matter what route we take or what advice we're given. We're going to choose our own way because we have the strength and ability to do that. But how do we know that? Because our strength card is linking us to our inner lioness, our inner strength. Whereas this is, I will go this route because I can. I have the strength, the determination, the passion, the power, that aggressiveness to a degree where it's going to say nobody's going to stand in my path. I'm not going to harm or hurt them, but nobody's going to stop me. I am determined to do this. This one is saying, I know I can do this because I have that inner strength. So this is our outer strength, and this being our inner strength, both represented by the most beautiful beasts on the earth, the king of the jungle and our snow leopard. Beautiful, beautiful cards. Gosh, can you tell I'm passionate about this deck? I really do like it. Now, I'm just going to skip a few here, and I want to come to the Tower. And the reason I want to come to the Tower card, because, you know, sometimes we can be reading someone, the Tower card comes up and going to go, oh my God, this person's either come from a shitstorm or is heading into a shitstorm, right? And you think, oh, wow. Look at this Tower card. And here we can see the fire, the lightning striking the tower, causing that eruption of flames and disaster and things to come crumbling down, the girl falling from the tower. And note, we only have the one person in this card here, dropping from the heavens as though she's going to look like a jam sandwich when she hits that ground. However, let's look at it from this way. What does that look like to you? That is what has no longer served her. She might not realise it, or the querent, whoever, might not realise at the time that there is going to be an event that is going to make you feel, oh my God, what the hell has just happened? And it's going to make you feel meh, but looking back, or even when that's during the throes of that, you can go, do you know what, I'm actually glad that part is over. And I'm dancing my way. I am dancing my way into my new life. I'm taking the path that I want to take because that no longer served me. I've now got an absolutely flat out new foundations on which to do it my way. And therefore, this is no longer somebody falling from a tower, but standing up and dancing her way into her new path, her new life. Okay, it's not going to happen like that. There's going to be things that this person's got to go through. It also depends what cards are either side, above, below, diagonally, how this is read and how severe this tower moment could be. But it could release this person into a sense of freedom, into a sense of independency, into a sense of, I've broken free from what held me back, you know, because at the time she might not have realised that things were holding her back and something would have to give, whether it's a health issue and there's dancing her way to recovery, whether it's a business, relationship, familial, friends, social circle, utter implosion. It's going to lead her free from the chains that have held her down. And the card that would be in cahoots with that one would be our Devil, wouldn't it? You know, what has held her back is no longer going to. She is going to take this frown and turn it upside down and dance her way to freedom. You know, that might not be what Athene wanted to pass on, but that's how I see it. And just as one or two oh my God, this king, couldn't you just run away with him? My God, if only he was real and I was, what, 30 years younger. Beautiful, 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 strong card, full of strength and vibrancy. Look, here's one of our aces, our Ace of Cups. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the emotions, the depth of love, the peace, everything that comes with that. But remember that cup is overflowing, and sometimes we can let our emotions overflow, that it makes us look a little bit like fruitcakes. We don't want that to happen. Right, that is the Unfolding Path Tarot. It's by Athene Noctua, and it's a deck I feel is going to have quite a lot of use in my tarot collection. And what deck would I pair it with? I would actually pair this with the Light Seers. There's a lot of things that I think they complement each other, and they're just two very strong decks that they give messages in a gentler manner. They don't seem as harsh or as scary as the traditional tarot decks can appear to some people. You know, I don't know how you have your experience to all of you out there in TarotTube, but I know from my own experience of people who come for a reading and they're sitting around my table, and I have a big round table that seats 6 people around it. I do a variety of tarot activities with people, but you do sometimes get an air of nervousness, an air of scariness, and some people who would be of the older generation link it to horror films, link it to, oh my goodness, is this opening the portals of hell? Yeah. No. In a word, no. But so these kind of decks sort of reduce that fear, and they bring a gentleness with them. So folks, those are the decks I want to share with you today. I will be posting this video up today, but I will also be posting the next instalment of our Ancestral Tarot later on this afternoon. Take care, enjoy whatever you're doing today, and be kind. Be caring of yourself. Be kind to others, but be kind to you. Enjoy your day. Bye now. Oops, hang on. There's more. Okay, I thought before I go I would share a reading that I'm going to do for myself. It's a 4-card reading from the book The Unfolding Path, and it is Where the Path Will Lead Today, and it's a 4-card spread. So let's have a look. The questions are, what will today bring? What blessings will today hold? Oops, here we go. And what test or obstacle might there be, and how can I best meet this challenge? Now let's have a look. I've shuffled them now pretty well. So we're going to go card 1, 2, 3, and 4. The reason I'm drawing from the top of the deck and not picking randomly is because I have shuffled this deck with these questions in mind, okay? So let's have a look. What will today bring? So we have got the King of Wands, and today's going to bring a lot of communication with the King of Wands. And how do I know that? Because this is the king who's, you know, he's sort of the top of his game with his in his skills, talents, and his abilities. He's reached that pinnacle, and he's there in an advisory capacity should I need the advice. Is he saying, well, you're at the top of your game, Elaine, or is this saying, Elaine, you may need to speak to somebody who has the knowledge of something that you want to do today? And as it happens, I had actually planned on working in my greenhouse, and as it happens, my husband happens to be home today. He used to work for the Forestry Commission many years ago, and he on the forestry, and he's quite knowledgeable, so I think he's going to be around to help me today. He's been rained off work, and ironically enough, this card is the one that's appeared. So what blessings will today hold? Well, look, what I was just saying, I want to work in my greenhouse. So it's all about nurturing, it's all about growth, it's all about being at harmony with nature as well, being that matriarchal figure. But right now, for me, how this is today, I'm working hand in glove with a strong partner. And today, through nurturing, through what we know, through working together and collaborating, we're going to get a task done. What test or obstacles might there be? We've got the hermit, and the test or obstacles might be that each of us do have that ability to like to share our knowledge or go by what we know. However, we're going to have to work collaboratively. So because this hermit is falling sort of in between these two here, it's a case of we're going to be liaising in the knowledge we have. Each will be leading the other, but at the same time this is going to be a joint effort where we can collaboratively work together, planning, cleaning out the greenhouse ready for autumn, but also relying on our inner knowledge, guiding each other, and working quietly too for that inner peace, that meditative state of working with nature. And how can I best meet this challenge? We've got the Queen of Wands. Well, you just couldn't make it up, could you? So we have the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands. Work with my partner. Realise that we are both nurturers. The greenhouse is mine. It is an independent project, but share it. Help, guide and lead each other, because together we're quite a strong force. And these together all say that, you know, today the only hurdle that there could potentially be is that independency, that desire to use my knowledge to lead the way, in a way although our hermit isn't necessarily a bossy card, here we have our wands, a staff with a crystal in it. Oh, we've all got our wands carrying our crystals, and it's like, well, look, I know, just listen to me. And instead of being an I know and a leading light, look at that don't be pushy, don't be demanding, but work together as a team. Yeah, that you couldn't have made that up. I hope you've enjoyed that. Bye now.